We are so pleased to bring back on set with us here at PCN Life, author, life coach, and creator of the Grace Trail, Anne Jolles. Welcome back, Anne.
Great to be here.
This is the third time we've had you back.
That's right.
Now, for those of you, the people out there who might not have seen the first two episodes, just explain what is the Grace Trail.
Okay. The Grace Trail is an actual trail that people can walk in Plymouth. It's an inspirational trail that I created when my son was in Afghanistan. It starts in Nelson Park. It's free. There's no, nothing. You just show up and start walking. And I've placed beautiful beach stones along the most beautiful trail in the world. And the stones have the 5 words of grace on it.
Okay.
And the 5 words are gratitude.
Yep.
So there's a stone that says gratitude. What are you grateful for?
Right.
And then R would be release. What do I need to release or let go of? You ask that question, and people frequently stop at the beach and they throw rocks in the water on that step to feel the energy of letting go. Go back up, and you ask the question that we're here to talk about today, which is A for acceptance. And so there's a stone that says accept, and what's calling out for acceptance in your life. And you round the bend away from the harbor, back on the bike path, back towards Nelson Park, and you'll see the challenge stone that says, how would I like to challenge myself? And you walk down, and then you find E, which is the last letter in grace, and it's for embrace. What can I embrace as possible in my life?
So the whole purpose of the Grace Trail
is
to almost help center ourselves
into
whatever is going on in our lives, whether it's our personal lives or the world or the environment or our family or our jobs. It's the ability to walk this trail, see life as it is, and be able to do things that help you better yourself in this life.
That's exactly right. It's a simple conversation that invites people in to talk about hope and possibility. And in this crazy world, what conversation do we need more than a conversation about hope and possibility?
Exactly.
Yes.
Now, you started this in Plymouth.
Yes, I did.
We have a physical Grace Trail in Plymouth. But you have an idea, you have a concept, you have a goal. Talk about that.
Yeah, my mission in 2018 is to bring Grace Trail out to the world. I'd like to have 50 trails in 50 states, 20 trails in 20 countries.
Wow.
Yes, I already have my first person from Cairo, Egypt. She reached out to me. She had read my book, and this is a young working mother who works in a bank in human resources, and she wanted to bring Grace Trail both into the bank, and she's also a life coach. She had trained as a life coach in the States, so we may soon have our first trail in the Middle East.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. How cool is that?
What a really cool concept.
It's
and they
so
have such
cool.
a different world than we do. They have such a different life than we do.
And she's broken all the stereotypes for me because she's just this wonderfully vibrant young working mom, just like in the States, and that's not what we hear about.
That's right.
And here she is saying, this is a language that we all need to be speaking all over the world, is the language of Grace Trail, because it's not about religion, it's not about gender or age or...
It's universal.
It's universal.
It's universal. And the your subtitle for your book is Finding Your Footing and Move Forward, the Life You Were Meant to Live. Move toward the life you were meant to live.
Move towards the life you were meant to live.
And anyone can do that anywhere.
That's right. You don't have to come to Plymouth to walk the Grace Trail. My goal is to make it accessible to people first all over the country and then all over the world, because I just can't think of a conversation that's more worth having than sitting down with someone who you really care about and walking through the 5 questions. Because they're questions. They're not telling you how to think, how to feel, what you should be doing. They're basically saying, meeting you right where you are in your life and saying, all this stuff happened, like where to from here? How do we go forward? And
now you have someone, kids locally in Hanover.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Yeah, I had 2 students from the Hanover High School reach out to me as their senior project. They wanted to put a Grace Trail behind Hanover High.
What a great idea.
A great idea. And so they worked with me, and they went back to the school. They handled the whole thing themselves. They were totally the leaders in this project. And they basically built a Grace Trail that connects the high school to the middle school.
Right.
It was
just through the woods.
Through the woods.
I went to Hanover High School.
Right, okay,
school.
that's right, through the woods. And they did a beautiful job. They went into the 7th and 8th grade art classes, and they brought beach stones, and the kids decorated them and wrote inspirational messages. And they both collected hundreds of stones with the big granite stones with the questions, and they put them throughout the woods. And teachers walk it, the administration walks it, the students walk it, and the community walks it.
And what a good idea for kids these days, because they are bombarded with so many things that are confusing to them.
They sure are.
Yeah. So let's talk about the third aspect of the Grace Trail, which is acceptance.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
How do you define that?
Acceptance is having the perspective of the thought that life's unfolding exactly as it's meant to unfold. That's acceptance. Doesn't mean you have to like it.
Right.
Doesn't mean you don't have choices, and it doesn't mean you're powerless.
It is what it is.
You can take action. It is what it is. You see, it's the clear seeing energy of seeing exactly what it is. And the wonderful part about this step is you can stop fighting battles that you cannot win.
Right.
That's what acceptance is.
Right.
But it's not, the question is, what's calling out for acceptance in my life? And you may not be ready to accept it, whatever it is in your life.
And it can be more than one thing.
Oh, I would say it could be more than one thing, yes.
Last time you talked about asking the question, what do I have control over and what, in release, what do I have control over, what do I not have any control over? So this is kind of the next step towards that, is you understand, okay, I don't have any control over that particular thing, but how am I going to react to it? How am I going to respond to it? How am I going to just
be with it?
Exactly.
Right. And, you know, when I was younger, I thought there were people who had the perfect life and the perfect family. And as I get older, I realize no one's immune.
Right.
We're all trying to find our footing in this really crazy world. And as you ask, you know, we're on the third step of the Grace Trail now, and gratitude sets you up beautifully by finding what's going right in your life and what's strong and true. Right. And then you sort of push things out of the way with release. And then you've got a little pile of what's calling out for acceptance in your life. Right. And, you know, the first step of acceptance is to just see that it's there. And you don't deny it.
Acceptance is empowering.
Oh, it's
just when you finally say, okay, I can't do anything about this, but I can do something about how I react to this, or how I respond to this, or if I'm going to let this control me, or rent any space in my head, or however way you want to put it.
Right.
Acceptance is really, really empowering yourself.
It is.
Right?
It is, because you sort of put the battle down. It's like, it is what it is. But then you have choice about how you want to be with it. But you can only do that if you're not reacting and emotional. You know, it's very interesting. I work with I hear from people like, say, grief counselors, coaches who are working with people with loss and transition, and they say that overall, having the R for release first helps people to let go, and then once you let go of things that aren't in your control, you can then turn your attention to, and what do you need to accept here? Right. So it's a nice flow to the steps. Does that make sense?
Oh, it absolutely makes sense. Now, when I read your book, I realized that I could envision actually walking this trail, physically walking the trail. But you can also walk the trail in your head and in your heart.
Oh yeah.
You don't literally have to go to a place.
No.
It probably makes it more meaningful, and it's something that it's tangible, and you can remember the sights and the smells and the sounds. But you don't have to actually go to a Grace Trail to experience the Grace Trail.
No, I call it the virtual trail, meaning you can just ask the questions to yourself anywhere. People have, you know, I do little Grace stones.
I love these little stones.
Yeah.
And you actually hand paint these words.
Yes, I do. Yeah. And so it's just the 5 words of grace, and people put them in their cubicle at work. They'll put the stones around. I know people who put them right on their computer screen, and throughout the day they'll reorient themselves just by asking the questions. No one knows that they're asking them. But people are using it in groups. You just have to ask the 5 questions anywhere, anytime,
you go.
with anyone.
Right.
And you've begun the Grace Trail.
Excellent. And we're actually out of time, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. 10 minutes like with you goes like that. So just tell me one more time what the GRACE stands for.
GRACE stands for gratitude, release, accept, challenge, and embrace.
Okay, and next time you're back, we'll talk about challenge.
That's right.
Okay, and 50 trails in 50 states and 20 trails in 20 countries
in 2018.
And we'll see how you do with that.
That sounds great.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. We now toss it over to Maureen Bates, who has brought a young musician from Pembroke to the set, who will start us off with a song.